Jacob Eason was once seen as the next great quarterback for Georgia. Coming out of high school, Eason was one of the top football prospects in the nation and had all the tools to be a future star. He quickly earned the starting quarterback job at Georgia, but after a devastating injury, he would be replaced, derailing him from what was supposed to be a promising career. So what happened to Jacob Eason, and where is he now? To understand how his journey took an unexpected turn, we have to start back in his roots in Washington, where his rise first began. Born to Tony and Christine Eason in Lake Stevens, Washington, Jacob was always around football, no thanks to his father's college football career at the University of Notre Dame. From the moment Eason stepped onto the football field, it was clear that he had talent to be a great football player. At Lake Stevens High School, he had a slow start as a freshman, only playing in 4 games, completing 42% of his passes for only 458 yards and 4 touchdowns. His sophomore year, however, saw a significant improvement as Eason threw for 2,941 yards, 23 touchdowns, completing nearly 60% of his passes. His junior season in 2014 would improve as Eason led the team to a 9-2 record, throwing for 32 touchdowns. His performance earned him the title of Junior of the Year by Rivals, solidifying his reputation as one of the top quarterback prospects in the nation. In his senior season, Eason saw much of the same success, completing 69.5% of his passes for 3,584 yards and 43 touchdowns, leading his high school to a 12-1 record and a deep playoff run. Despite a tough 34-37 loss to Skyline in the state semifinals, Eason's high school career was still considered one of the best at the time. Over his 4 years at Lake Stevens High School, he would rack up 9,813 passing yards and 102 touchdown passes. These numbers, combined with his towering 6'6" frame and cannon of an arm, made him the top-rated pro-style quarterback in the nation for the class of 2016. Eason's recruitment was a whirlwind, as nearly every major college football program in the country sought his commitment. He received offers from Florida, Alabama, Notre Dame, Michigan, Oklahoma, and several other powerhouse schools. However, on July 20th, 2014, Eason committed to the University of Georgia. To be the best, I guess you have to play with the best. Eason enrolled early in Georgia in the spring of 2016 and immediately found himself in the mix for the starting quarterback position. Although senior Greason Lambert was initially named the starter, Eason quickly made an impression. In Georgia's season opener against North Carolina, Eason came in for Lambert during the 4th possession and threw his first collegiate touchdown. From there, Eason earned his first career start the following week against Nicholls State, where he threw for 204 yards and a touchdown. By the end of the 2016 season, Eason has started 12 games, throwing for 2,430 yards and 16 touchdowns, helping Georgia to a solid 8-5 record. The 2017 season, however, would prove to be a turning point in Eason's career. In the season opener against Appalachian State, Eason suffered a devastating knee injury on a late hit, forcing him to miss several games. This wasn't a season-ending injury, but by the time he recovered, freshman quarterback Jake Fromm took over and played well enough to retain the starting job over Eason's recovery. Fromm led Georgia to the College Football Playoff National Championship game, and Eason's future with the Bulldogs became uncertain. On January 2018, Eason announced that he would transfer to the University of Washington, returning to his home state, which was no surprise. Due to NCAA transfer rules, Eason had to sit out the 2018 season, but he used that time to learn the Huskies playbook and prepare for the next season in 2019. He would then win the starting job at Washington, and in his first game against Eastern Washington, he completed 27 of 36 passes for 349 yards and 4 touchdowns, leading the Huskies to a commanding 47-14 victory. Over the course of the season, Eason threw for 3,132 yards and 23 touchdowns, while throwing 8 interceptions, completing 64% of his passes. After the 2019 season, Eason declared for the 2020 NFL Draft, foregoing his senior year, finishing his college career with 5,590 passing yards, 39 touchdowns, and 16 interceptions across 29 games. It's safe to say that Jacob Eason's path to the NFL wasn't the smoothest, but his tough-it-out mentality and talent were evident throughout his whole high school and college careers. Despite injuries and competition, he remained focused, earning a chance to compete at the next level. Whether it was leading his high school team to the state semifinals or guiding Washington to a successful season, Eason demonstrated that he was willing to put in the necessary work to succeed in football's most demanding position. Drafted in the 4th round in the 2020 NFL Draft by the Indianapolis Colts, Eason's journey to the NFL began with significant promise. The Colts selected him with the 122nd overall pick, hopeful that he could develop into a future starter. However, the coaches saw that his rookie season was more of a year of development for him. They didn't want him to be an NFL starter right off the bat. So in 2020, Eason served as the third-string quarterback behind established veteran Phillip Rivers and backup Jacoby Brissett. As a result, he didn't see much game action during his first year in the league, using the time to learn from already established quarterbacks. But the following offseason presented new opportunities for Eason. With Rivers' retirement and Brissett's departure, Eason entered the 2021 season in competition for the backup role behind newly acquainted Carson Wentz. Eason battled with rookie Sam Ehlinger during training camp and eventually won the backup job. This promotion would mark a significant step forward in his career, but his opportunities would remain limited. Eason made his NFL debut in week 2 of the 2021 season following an injury to Wentz late in the game against the Los Angeles Rams. Eason came in to finish the game, completing 2 out of 5 pass attempts for 25 yards. However, an early interception would hurt Eason and was unable to rally the Colts to victory. Shortly after this debut, Eason's time with the Colts came to an end, as he was waived by the team on October 19, 2021. The following day, Eason was claimed off waivers by the Seattle Seahawks, a move that brought him back to his home state in Washington. However, despite the homecoming, Eason's opportunities were limited with the Seahawks. He didn't get to play a single game for Seattle and was ultimately waived by the team on August 30, 2022, leaving him with an uncertain future in the NFL. In August of 2022, Eason signed with the Carolina Panthers, initially joining their practice squad. A short time later, he was elevated to an active roster after starting quarterback Baker Mayfield suffered an injury. Eason saw action in a Week 6 game against the Los Angeles Rams, stepping in for PJ Walker. Eason would complete 3 of 5 pass attempts for 59 yards, but also threw an interception that game. Despite a promising start, his interception and limited playing time led to him being returned to the practice squad after that game. He was ultimately released by the Panthers in November 2022. Shortly after this season, Eason had a brief stint with the San Francisco 49ers, signing with their practice squad in November of 2022. While this seemed like another chance for Eason to reset his career, his time with the Niners was also short-lived, as he was released early in January 2023 without appearing in any games. Later that month, Eason rejoined the Carolina Panthers by signing a reserved future contract, signaling the organization still saw potential in this young quarterback. However, just a few months later, in May 2023, Eason was waived by the Panthers once again, leaving him to search for another opportunity. Later that year, Eason found himself with the New York Giants, signing to their practice squad in November. His time with the Giants mirrored other NFL stints, as he was released and re-signed multiple times. While with the Giants, Eason continued to develop but not make any notable on-the-field appearances. Finally, in January 2024, he was promoted to the active roster, but it was only a temporary measure, as his role with the team still remained unclear. In July of 2024, Eason received another opportunity to prove himself, this time with the Green Bay Packers. The Packers signed him during an offseason as a potential backup option, giving Eason a chance to compete for a spot on the team. Unfortunately, the stint was short-lived, and Eason was released by the Packers just 2 weeks later, in early August 2024. Eason remains unsigned after his release from the Packers. Maybe his best days are behind him, but whether it's as a backup or a starter, Jacob Eason continues to pursue his dream of making an impact in the NFL.